So now we'll talk about list. So here I have a list. I'm just doing a for loop. I'm getting that values. No, here you can achieve that. The only thing which you need to take care is in, say, here we call it dictionary. In Perl we call it map, right? Has. So here the rule is has or dictionary key need to be immutable. I don't know, that's the same reason. It should be the same reason because the sorting algorithm works that way only. So here it can't be a list. Key can't be a list because in list you can do addition, remove element, but you can have string, tuple, all those things can be there. I guess that's same in any other language. But here, for values, you can have any data type. For list also, you can have list inside list, dictionary inside list, list inside that dictionary, again that inside the list. All those things you can do. Okay. Just for who doesn't know Python, to take any value, say protocols, I want to get first value. It works with index 0, 1, 2, 3, or negative -1, -2, -3. If I do this, I'll get first. If I do -2, I'll get second last. That's how Python works. So dictionary, you had key value pair. If you print this is your dictionary. To get the value out of dictionary, you just need to provide the way in list I was providing index. Here we need to provide key. So if I provide CEO, I'll get this. I'm just iterating over the dictionary. So it will be a pair of key and value. So I'm getting that output. Now we'll start talking about YAML, then we'll go to Jinja. So you see why any of the Python programmer or these days we love YAML. The reason being, you put your data in your text file kind of thing, just take care of certain indentation, and in any language you can convert that into your data type. Say if I define this kind of YAML, so this is a text file, but this can be converted to any of the language data type. So if I convert it into Python, I'll get dictionary list out of it. Similarly, if you convert that into Perl, you'll get map, has, all those things, you'll get that. So that's why YAML is very useful, where you have multiple language thing which you want to do. You just put your data into your text file, use your language module and import it, you'll get the data. Okay, so I'll just tell you how this will look into dictionary or in Python. So the main thing which you need to take care in YAML is indentation. So if this is data, this belongs to foots. This is our data which belongs to language. Okay, how it gets converted into Python is, if you say A colon B, these are key value pair. So this gets converted into dictionary. Okay, if you have this way, these are all list elements. So whenever you see this kind of thing, these are list. Whenever you see key A colon B, that becomes dictionary. So this is dictionary. Inside that, again, this will become a dictionary with these are the key value pairs. Right? Any doubt in this? So this is with respect to Python. In any language, that gets converted to your array or has, whatever you say in that language. Value of food key. Similarly, this is a dictionary which is a value of language key. So if you see your language bindings, so for any other language, you'll find that. So you have a C binding, Ruby binding, Python binding. We have for any other language, you'll find a binding for that. Okay, so whatever language you are using, you'll get the module to convert this text file into your data type. Now let's see this. Again, taking a simple example. So what I am doing here is I am keeping my whole YAML content as a string. So this way in Python you can provide a string. So this is a variable, triple quote, and I can provide a YAML content in a string. So this tells Python that this is a YAML content. Okay, 3 hyphen. But this same content can reside in any file. That's the only difference I'm doing. Just for demo purpose, I'm keeping it here as a string. Now Python has a module called YAML. If you do pip install PyYAML or YAML, you'll get YAML module. Okay. So once you have YAML installed, then you do YAML.load. This data will get converted into Python data types. I guess it's PyYAML. You have any question? So if you do YAML.load, you can see that's get converted into dictionary. So you have dictionary key value. If you see development, again this was a list, that becomes a list, right? For cells, again you have a list of Sydney and Mumbai, which becomes a list. You have a name, which is Juniper Networks. This might not be in sync the way you are looking here because Python's dictionary does its own sorting. Because anytime you want to fetch the value, you'll use a key. So internally it does its own sorting. So that shouldn't match here. So you shouldn't be saying that why you don't have name as the first value of that dictionary. Should be, yes. For list tuple, it should be in the order. Looks good. So we'll go into other example. So we had a simple dictionary or a simple list. Similarly, you can have a list inside a list, dictionary inside a list inside a dictionary. All those things play around we can do. So if you see here, we have, so this defines list, as I told you. Again, this defines a list, right? So this is a list, full list. Inside that, this two element becomes a part of list, and this two becomes a part of another list. So you need to decide how your data should look like, and accordingly you need to define your own YAML file. Hmm. It's just that this is your, so as you know in Python you need to use index. So this is your full list. If you do 0, you'll get this. You want pineapple, then 0 of 0. I'm not using that way, that's why I can just do this. So I can do, say first I'll print x of 0, which is a pineapple coconut, and then I can leave 1 coconut, that 1. Okay. So similarly for dictionary, you can use your keys. So here is an example where we have a dictionary and dictionary inside a dictionary. So this two will be a dictionary keys, Joe and Laura, and then these two value will be your value of those two keys, which again is a dictionary. So you can say this full is a dictionary where you have a key, and this value is again a dictionary. So as you said, you to fetch the value anything. So I can put it in a x. To get this age, I can just do x of Joe and then age. Okay. So in dictionary, you need to use key. Any question till now? Any doubt? So this is how we generally define any of the YAML. Have you ever used YAML or know where YAML is being used? No? I'll give you some of the best example where we use YAML. Have you heard of Ansible? No? Puppet Chef? So these are the kind of tools which are used to do configuration management, where you can have whole 1,000 of boxes in your lab. With one master, you can configure all the boxes. You can install config on all of your boxes, or you can install OS on all of the boxes. So we have Puppet Chef, Ansible, Salt Stack, all those things which customer are using for these purposes. So if you talk about Ansible, in Ansible we have a playbook where we define these are the hosts, this is things we want to do. All those things we define in YAML. Okay. If you talk about source stack, in source stack, the same playbook is being named as state. There also you can define things in YAML file, or you can define your variables in YAML file, right? So let me show you if I have certain example. So you see this playbook. So this is plain YAML file where I'm defining what kind of module need to be used. So this is our internal module, you know that. What is the task I need to do is get facts. So this will give you the facts of the device, what version is loaded and how many dual array is there or not, all those things it will return you back. So yeah, I'm returning and registering into this variable. So this is how this YAML content looks like. This is the simplest one. So Salt uses it, Ansible uses it. Our internal tool, we have a JSnap, which does audit of your system. That too uses that. Okay. So if you see how big it can grow is, this again is a YAML file, which does our audit of Telstra device that has got 2000 lines. So this is just a YAML file, but you need to write in a this fashion. So this is your list, which has a dictionary called command as a key, and this is the value. And this way you have test and XPath, all those things. So if you see this, so this goes this much big. So this much big file you can write and start using your environment. Okay.
At global level, it will either represent a dictionary or a list.
Yes, that is what I have used till date. Now coming to some complicated example.
Dictionary items, right? I mean, so will it not get more and more complex to handle in the code? I mean, because it will be dictionary of dictionary of dictionary.
But otherwise, if how you will define the data? Anyhow, if you have that complex data structure, you need to define it, right? This gives you flexibility. How you would have defined things in your code, you define in your text file. That's the thing, what it does. That call you have to take how complex your data should look. It should go in nested way or it should be simple enough that we have to take a call, right?
Is it possible to load just a part of the YAML file or just read that
No,
part?
no,
Can we load it?
just one time YAML.
Can we load it to some root environment?
But in one file you can have multiple YAML content, if I'm not wrong. So that triple quote, and there is a closing thing which can give you one whole YAML content. But I'm not used that way.
Something like that, like implementing root mechanism, like if you want to copy the file, you want to create one table like this. So using for root, can I copy this YAML file?
Yes, that way you can do. So you have it. So the way we convert it into dictionary, similarly you can revert it back also.
That will be the root.
Yeah, you can do that. I guess there's a function called dump. Not sure. Let me check that. So what he's saying is we have this kind of data. Can we create a YAML file? That is what you're looking for.
Same kind of file, like getting only a VLAN, right? VLAN ID, VLAN name, both same.
Hmm.
Format one. This will write such kind of files. So like then iterate on such kind of patterns. You can populate your YAML file.
Let me come back to Jinja, then I'll take your question. I think that might be your answer. So I'll just telling you. So if you have a data, that too can be converted into YAML file. There's a function called dump or dumps, which takes the data and create a YAML file out of that. Okay. So if you take this YAML content, so similarly we have a key value pair, dictionary, 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 value as a dictionary, dictionary, list of dictionaries. Now if you see here at the rate of ID 001, what does that mean is this dictionary build 2 and the value out of that will get stored in this variable. So if you have a similar value which you want to reiterate or reuse, you can set it the ID as this way, or any of the name. This is just a name, and you can provide this whole data again to another variable. This is what it is doing. So this whole street and city and state will be put to this zip2, right? The way we have permanent address and correspondent address, we tick mark and then the same thing goes into. So that is what we are doing here, right? So similarly here, what it means is this is one whole content. To put a strings list of string or lines, we just mark it this way. So this just means that this whole string belong to this value. So this special delivery will have a value, follow the yellow break and all. Okay. So now if I load this, you can see zip2 also has the same value as we have build2. Okay. And a special delivery has this whole message as a one value. Fine.
So in your special delivery message type,
Mm-hmm.
you had followed the yellow brick and then write it in the next line. It doesn't break it if the next two lines.
No, it won't do. So if you want that, the two we have, what you need to do is, I guess I don't have that example. Let me try out here only. So for this, you need to put a pipe. So now you can see you have a slash n, new lines. So if you print this, you'll have separate line. I don't remember those. What are the specific characters there? I just know that like if you want to convert int into float, all those things you have. What all the specific characters is there? I am not aware. Oh, then you can put it as a string code. It'll work, yeah. So by default, okay, one more thing I missed out. So if you are not putting things here, these are all string. But even if you put in code, that will work. Okay. Now this is similar example the way we had in the last one. You can see we are providing ID to a step, and this second step has another ID. Those IDs are being used here. Okay. But in last step, you can see we are using this kind of keyword, which means that I want to use ID of one, but I want to change sport size. That is kind of polymorphous, the way you inherit things, but you want to change some of the function behavior. That kind of flexibility you have here. So you get this whole data or a big chunk of data, but I just want to change one of the value out of that. So I can do that this way. So if you run this, you'll see for first one we had a sport size as 1 millimeter, but here you have 2 millimeter. But I've never, this is just for training purpose, I've never used this in my last 2 years career. Okay. So this is what you have in YAML. You don't have much. You have other things where you can convert your integer to float or all those things you can do, but this is what you have. And this is what max you can be using. So any doubt in YAML, or I can move to Jinja?
Everything is a string. So basically it's supposed to, in the code we do the
Yes, mapping. No, so this way it will be a string, but if you're providing integer, it will be converted into integer. Ideally, it should be,
to
yes.
specify,
It should be.
by default
Yes. We had it like that one. Let's try that. So here you can see age is 22. Yes.
So YAML is in different file. So how you will read in a same way, like how we have to.
No, samely open it and then put it to YAML module, YAML load. Or let's check. So this gives you what all functions you have with YAML. Okay. So if you have parse. So we have a path. So you can just provide the file path. It will read that. No need to open that file and do that. Okay. Yeah. So it will take care of that. So let's go to Jinja template. So the reason being why I was talking about YAML or list dictionary, because those are what we get from YAML. Why I was talking about YAML or why we need to YAML is most of the time when you have a Jinja template, you have say mainly two ways where you can provide. You have a data where you define your data type list dictionaries and you feed that data into your template. Okay. Or better, similarly put those data in your YAML file and feed data through that YAML file. That is what any of the Salt, Ansible, or any of the tool does. You provide your data into your YAML file. So I have few templates which I have kept in this folder. That's why I'm just taking that working directory. So this is your easiest template. For Python, you have a Jinja 2 template. Again, you can need to do pip install Jinja 2, you'll get Jinja 2 module. Import Jinja 2 or Jinja 2 from Jinja 2 import template. These are just the Python syntax, the way to import template. So what you can do, you can need to import Jinja, then you can use Jinja 2 dot template, or you can do from Jinja 2 import template and then do template. So this is the simplest template. The syntax of templates is say this, okay, and then provide the variable inside that. So this curly bracket and that variable this variable need to be assigned by user when you are doing a rendering. So I've defined and created a template of that string. Then I know this is the data which you need to have the value. So data equal to world, you'll get the output of that. Or if I just change here, so accordingly your value will be generated. So the plus point with Jinja template is say you want to work on big config and few other things which keeps changing for you. So rather than changing your going into your config file and changing config file is bit risky. So rather define the template out of that and feed data into that. Okay, so your template will be generated rather than touching your template. Better to put just provide data into that. Now say this is your interface config. I will be taking text Juno's config for the example. So here you have interfaces, interface, unit, and other details of that interface, right? So if you see here, I'm just converting that config into a template where you have this interface name. I've changed it. Then you have VLAN member, which I have changed it. Similarly, if you want to change port mode, that too you can add it. But for example, I'm just changing this too. So there is a two template where you have these two values which need to be given by user, right?
Nitin, in the previous line, what was those exclamation marks?
Oh, that just came into your, yeah, sorry. So here also, template can be kept in your file. The extension would be J2. For YAML, it can be YAML or YML. For Jinja 2, it's J2. But for example, I'm just putting in a string. So this is my template, which ideally should reside in a file. I'll show you example of file also. So here I have interface name as a variable, VLAN as the another variable. So I got a created a template out of that. So as I told you, I just import Jinja and Jinja2 dot template out of this variable. I got the template. Then just template dot render for these two variables. I'm providing the value as a key value pair. So interface name as G001 and VLAN as 200. That's it. And if I run this, I'll get my config. All right. So just if I want to change it, say it's 002, just change that and you get the output of the config file rather than writing another new config out of that. Okay. So the way I provided here as key value pair, similarly I can provide it as a dictionary also. So you can see I have a dictionary where I have an interface name as value and VLAN name value. Okay. So render can take key value pair as well as dictionary. For this case where you have the just two key for which you need to provide value. Why I'm showing you this one is, can you guess? In YAML I can put this two key value pair as a dictionary, right? So these contents can go into your YAML file, read out of that and feed it to your Jinja template and get the output. So I can put it in a dictionary also, I'll get the output. So this is an example where so this is the same template which I have put in my file. So Jinja provide you a file system loader where you tells you from where to load your template. That you can do, or you can just do the way we did Jinja template. Open that file, read it, give. So this will give you a string out of that, right? You read the file and do a read. This gives you a whole string of that content. So the way we were doing earlier, similarly we can do that way also. Just read that file and give it to that. Or you define a file system loader from where you want to read that. Then these are some of the variables I'll just explain to you. So this loader you need to feed it in a Jinja environment. Now, so get template. I'm telling from this folder I want to use this one underscore template Jinja2, and then do render. So the way we did, just similar thing, it will give me an output out of that. Okay. So you can have your Jinja template in your code itself as a string, or you can put in your file, any other file, read it, or create an environment and start using it. The reason why we use this way is in your one file folder, you can have many template. So we create an environment and we start just doing get template out of that folder. So that's why we use this environment.
One template goes in one file.
Yes.
Have multiple.
No. Ideally, you shouldn't have that, right? You should have one template in one file.
I have seen cases where same Jinja have multiple templates and the arguments which are passed, right? And based on that, they take the float block of your particular.
I'll come to that. So all those things what you, as a programming language, we call inheritance, all those things are kind of supported here. And the one thing which people start looking for is, can I do coding in template? You shouldn't do that. Template is just for templating. You shouldn't start writing your code inside that. There are few things which template provide, but you should be careful in writing your code. Okay. So what I was talking about is these variable trim block and strip block. These are like if you have a template, it gives you a new line, it's one line spaces in your template. So this won't look like this. you will have a new line out here for each lines. So I'm just saying I don't want those kind of things. That's what that variable tells you. So for more detail, you can just go into this link and you can get that. So those are where simple key value pair template. Similarly, you can have a for loop in your template like this, or like the way you have in Python for item interfaces. So obviously this interfaces need to be your list, right? So for item in interface, so this block will keep repeating according to how you are providing your interface. If you have just one element, there will be one item. If you have four, then there will be four items. So these are the cases where your template becomes very handy. We'll show you that. So we have interfaces which need to be a loop. So it need to be a list. Here you have a simple member as wheel and name. So it's just a key value pair in need to be. Right? And there is a info. So here you can see for interfaces, I'm providing two interface, and for wheel and name as 300. Now if I render this, I'm getting this much. Or let's make it say I just want to have bigger template config. So what we need to have just is so as you can see, I just added these two value and my config got bigger. Right? Just one iteration you need to define, feed value or whatever you need, and accordingly your config will become bigger and bigger. So this is where your template is very handy.
Can I have a range instead of the individual values, right? Let's say I want to configure 48 interfaces.
40?
48 interfaces.
Okay.
Displaying each interface in the list, right? Can I have a range?
Yes, you can do that. Again, I'll come back to that. So in Jinja, they provide filter. Filter, how you can give it is 5, and Jinja has a lot of filters. Let's go into first how many filters you have. So as you can see, we have these many filters. Say I want to convert things to upper, lower. So all these kind of filters you can provide to your template. So if you see in this example, what I'm saying is whatever mode user provide, apply and filter called upper. Okay. So if you are not providing a upper string, it will just this template will take care of converting say access and will convert that to an upper layers. Okay, so similarly, you have a lot of filters. There are a lot of internal filters. We can also define our filters. So if you check this, so this port mode gets changed to upper layer. Okay, so this is what we get it from Jinja. But how we can define our own filter? There is a module called bracket expansion. Again, you can do pip install bracket expansion, or you need to define your own function which takes care of that. What it does is, if you provide G00 and 0 to 5, it will convert it to G001, 000, 01, 02, 03, 04. That way it works. Okay, so this is a module which I install and I'm using it. But this function we can also define and provide that as a filter. So I took this module, got this function, and I'm using this. Now, if I provide this kind of syntax, it will work for me. So you can see I'm just giving it here, bracket expansion, and I'm using this kind of syntax. The config I'll get is this way. Okay. Any doubt? But if you want to define your own filter, you need to know how to write the function. So that function need to be a how to tell you. So there's a keyword called yield in Python, which gives you iterator. So you need to define an iterator, Python iterator, which need to be feed to that filter. If you don't know that, you just use internal filters. So this is what you were looking for. I guess I've never tried multiple, but you can give doing pipe should work ideally. So I'm just using some of the function of Python where globe list down all the file from a folder. So this is what it is doing. There's a SSH keys folder where I have a public key, SSH keys located there. So Ram Lakhan public key. I'm just trying to split this full name to just get the file name. Okay. And then remove the extension also. So that is what I'm doing. And I'm using some Python list comparison. Ignore that. Just I'm trying to get this Ram and Lakhan and this public key so that I get the content of that key file. Okay. So if you want to see that file, so this is our SSH key. And similarly, we have for Lakhan. Now if I run this, so if you see this template, I have SSH key files which I will be providing as when we do render, and accordingly you take that key, and then I'm using my own filter where I have defined that function. You can see I have defined my function based file name. So that filter I'm using here. So as I told you, so you can define your function, that too you can use for your filter. Okay, and this include SSH pub. What that will do is, for each key file, it will take the content of that file and it will include it here. So we have an include keyword in Jinja template which takes the content of the file you are providing and put it there. Okay. So include keyword is used for that. So you can see SSH, RSA, and that authentication keys are being pushed out here. Right? So you can get content from your file and post it in your template also. So you can do kind of inheritance where you can include your other Jinja template in your another Jinja template using include. So that is what I'm doing. So this is my main Jinja template where I have this much template, and I'm also using include user Jinja template. Okay, so let's see these two files first. So this is my main file. And similarly, we will have user Jinja template where this is the user, what we used just now to put SSH keys. So that way we can include that. So now if you see, for the main Jinja template, I'm doing a render where I'm providing the interfaces name where these things are being generated. And similarly, that users Jinja template is getting appended to that and get the output. So you can break your template into parts and you can start using it. We have an include keyword which includes your template. We have a block keyword where you can define your blocks and put it into your another template. That way you can define. So similarly, you have condition also. The way we had for loop, you have condition also in your template where you can do if else. So I have a CSV file where we have VLAN ID and VLAN name this way defined. Okay. So this is my template where I'm trying to use if else condition. So with this set keyword in template, I can set a variable value. Okay. So if I'm doing set, or if you just can ignore that part for now. So this is your if condition. If state value is present, include create VLAN, else include remove VLAN. So these are the two VLANs configuration template which I have defined: create VLAN and remove VLAN. So there's a create VLAN, which is again a template, Jinja template, and remove VLAN. Okay. And I'm not using J2. I can use anything. The only thing is you need to take care of that file name being provided to your environment. So now what it does is, as you can see, if not this one. So if the state is present, it will take create VLAN. Otherwise, it will take remove VLAN. Okay. On top, I'm saying state is equal to state. If I'm not providing state, the default value should be present. That is what it says. Okay. So now if I run this, I'm taking main VLAN and providing these values to that template. So this is my dictionary which I will be providing to that template. And I'm getting this one from create VLAN. So you can see here I have a for loop, VLAN name, and then VLAN ID. But that is what I'm providing. So if you see this syntax, what does that mean is this will be a dictionary, and for that dictionary, the value for VLAN name will be provided out here. So this is a dictionary, VLAN name, VLAN ID is being added out here. Where? This one, right? This is for this start and end. Okay. Now, if I provide a state as absent, it will take a remove VLAN. So if you read that, this is the syntax. This is the template for remove VLAN. So you can see I'm doing a for loop and then a delete out of that. So that is how you can do if else condition, right? So the example I'll just show you to you.
This was the slide I came up with for.
So first of all, this video is of Riot Games, which uses PyZ and Ansible in their infrastructure. So this is how they have configured their network, where they use a Jinja template.
So upset with them. They were not supporting both. I was so mad. And when Peter got up, like all of my
anger and frustration kind of billowed away. And it was nice, but at the same time, I was kind of frustrated because this was the slide I came up with for how you can like so anger and frustration kind of. If you saw that there was a YAML file which was being used. It was nice, but at the same time, I was kind of frustrated because this was the slide I came up with for right. That was YAML file. This is your Jinja template. So you can see here also he's using Jinja, Juniper configuration as well as Arista. And for that, he's having a condition. If host type is Juniper, then use this template. If it is Arista, then use that template. Right? Apart from that, again, you have same kind of thing. VLAN, this will be a dictionary for that. There will be ID defined. That is how the template is taking the values. So you have if condition. You have, I don't have any for loop here. No, we don't have. So that is how he can use any of the vendor template in his use case. So this is again a PyZ video.
The rendered or the completed merged file, the actual file of.
So he's Jeremy, myself and Jeremy and Rick who appeared PyZ. So here you can see we have a template. So what he's trying to showcase is you can provide a YAML template, all those things. You just provide this is Jinja template file, this is YAML content file, provide it to PyZ. It will take care of rendering both thing into one config and loading onto the device. So that is what we are trying to showcase here. Or there's a Juniper video also, which
We are sending both the Jinja and the YAML file. Then the Jinja template is in a format of that interface, then the tree structure. So can we set the set commands also and file
yes.
that?
So that's what I told you starting that I'm using just text content, but you can use anything. JSON. Now you can push JSON also from 16.1. So it can be JSON, XML, set, anything. So for set also we have template. You can create any kind of template. So thus the only thing which you need to take care is when you do load, you need to specify what kind of format it is, whether it is set, text, JSON, or XML, so that PyZ knows that what kind of content you are trying to push. So what PyZ does is internally it creates RPC, right? So for RPC, there should be load configuration format, right? Format is the thing which goes as a tag. So we need to set that. If you are not providing, we try to figure that out using regular expression. If we are not able to do that, then we by default we take that as XML. Okay. So this is our Juniper video where again he's talking about here's a CSV file with these data. So again he's using a template where he pushes those CSV file data into this template and uses it in PyZ. That's all I have for Jinja. That's what you will be using in Juniper, I guess, not more than that. For any other detail, you can go to Jinja Poco and org and you can get more detail of that. We have a documentation page out here.